Kyle here from All Media Reviews, Vinyl Collection A to Z, the letter P, Part 3. I think this is video number 23. And this is kind of a big one, even though there aren't a lot of... Well, there's some somewhat bigger names, but the last video, of course, had the biggest names. So, alright, so... I'm doing this in the right order, I hope I am. This is my collection from the great band, the trio from the late 70s, early 80s, The Police. So I have two singles of theirs. Well, I thought I had everything by them. I just saw Andy Summers, of course, last week. I thought I had every record, because you see the record, they only have 5 proper full lengths, but I think I hesitated to buy it. I had them all on CD, and now I've got the jewel cases for all of them, but I don't have the CDs, or vice versa. I can't remember which one. I think it's the jewel cases. The jewel cases and the booklets, but... So I have a standard copy of I Understand More, their debut album from 70. That is their debut album, I believe. 79. I'm doing the math here. No. This says 79. But if I know my Police history, yeah, this says Roxanne. This is their debut album. Can't Stand Losing You. So Lonely. Next to You. Peanuts. It's a great record. I mean... A friend of mine, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the record, I didn't lose records, that is actually purple. I think I may have showed it when I bought it years ago, but I'd have to do some searching. If this is the one that I think, or maybe it's one of the other records I'm going to show. Anyway, it's standard black vinyl from A&M. This says 78, and that sounds closer, but I always thought the Police's debut was 77. Anyway, I've never done an actual dedicated video on the Police. I should. I just did the Andy Summers review. Well, when I get into the albums of the year, of course, their name will be coming up. Need that going anywhere. Let me put it here. So I've got 2 of their 12-inch singles, and they're both for the same song. I forgot about that. I don't know if I bought them. This is a favorite. Their 12-inch single is one of them is like an EP. This is Wrapped Around Your Finger, which comes off of, this is also wrapped, this is a 4-track 12-inch single. Well, Wrapped Around Your Finger came out, the album that I'm about to show here, Synchronicity, which came out in '83. But it may have been released first as an EP. This has Eddie Offord, it's recorded by Eddie, who worked with Yes and a lot of other people. Yeah, this is like a promotional thing. I mean, it's got Wrapped Around Your Finger, Murder by Numbers, and Someone to Talk to. I don't know where I got this, but the fact these are different, and I don't think they're the same thing. Actually, no, they're not the same, but they are the same. So this is a different, they're both 12 inches. I think this is a 12-inch. It looks like it's a 12-inch. But this has Message in a Bottle, a live version, and I Burn For You. I don't know, maybe that is the same. Well, because I know, like, in the different territories, and, I thought this will be interesting to look up on Discogs. But anyway, I mean, Wrapped Around Your Finger, the song, is one of my favorite Police songs. It's in the top 5 for sure. But, obviously the artwork's different on these two, so, So then I'll pull out my copy of Synchronicity, because Dan Fury from Vinyl Fury, Dan, he showed his copy, I think maybe it was this then, a few weeks back, and his was, even though it looked black, based on the way it's actually purple. And I'm still not seeing that exactly. But I know I bought one that happened, because... And I would be interested just to look back at some of my videos. This would have been, I don't know, it could have been close to 10 years ago. But I know that was a unique thing when I got. That was one of the reasons why I bought it, because it was like it said colored vinyl, and it was purple. But like I said, the albums between these, especially Ghost in the Machine, I'm surprised are not right currently in my collection. Maybe I'm going to find them within some of these other records at some point. But then again, I've got a case of missing music that I don't know if I'll ever find. But could be in my wife's stuff too, potentially, because she likes the Police, but But yeah, I mean, Ghost of the Machine, Regatta de Blanc and Outland, or Regatta de Blanc and Zenyatta Mondada. I've seen them many times. I mean, sometimes the price is a little bit high, but given that I don't see them in my collection now, and I don't think I have them, apparently, I want to seek them out because they're all really good records. Although I consider that the Police, the way their catalog goes, this was their finest achievement, and it is. I mean, it has Raptor on Her Finger, it has King of Pain, the guitar solo I love. It's got Synchronicity 1 and Synchronicity 2. Synchronicity 2 was my first favorite song. So one of my closest friends from high school I used to hang out with was a fanatic of both the Police and Sting, so I got my fill of just Police and Sting, I heard it frequently. We'd get together on Friday nights, and he'd have it on his he had a little tape deck. I don't know if he had a radio on it. His car didn't have a tape deck in it, the car he drove, but he would frequently have them in there. Occasionally put something else, but it would frequently, and I want to listen to Rush, and I don't think we did it too many times because he was driving. He got to control the music. That was the deal. Tea in the Sahara is another favorite. Walk in Your Footsteps is great. I just feel like they kind of peaked, even though the writing was pretty much on the wall if you understand and know enough about the Police history that they weren't going to be together because personalities clash, and it was like a battle of egos between Sting and Stuart Copeland mostly, and Sting just had more opportunity to go solo. He had obviously other music he could do, and Stuart Copeland went on to do soundtrack stuff, and Andy Summers collaborated with Robert Fripp, as I learned, and the rest is history. Unfortunately, I only did the one reunion that I know of, but yeah, it's a great record, Synchronicity. So let's move on. Okay, guys, this is a long stack. I want to even get this all done in one. So I only have the one record from this band. Yeah, the order of those. Okay, so this is my only record from the Polyphonic Spree at this point. This is the Fragile Army. Their second to last record, but the record that came out when I got into them in 2007. The one record that has St. Vincent, and it has the Polyphonic Spree, known for their large ensemble of players. And St. Vincent, the St. Vincent, of course, she played with them, and she played with Sufjan Stevens at one point, I believe. But she's in here, kind of in the, there she is, right there if you look. So, but yeah, it's one of the progenitors of sorts of modern chamber rock or orchestral rock. I mean, they do the big vocals. I mean, Tim DeLaughter's the front guy and everything, and I have several of their other CDs. They have an album that's supposed to be coming out called Salvage Enterprise, which there have been listening parties the last couple years. Still waiting to find out. It said summer of 2023, and then there's stuff about merch and all this stuff. But part of the problem is it's this guy. It's Tim DeLaughter, and then he has this large assortment of musicians and singers and everything. So it's like they've had up to 30 or 40 members. I saw them live, I think twice, and yeah, they get the whole. They wear these robes and stuff. I mean, it's not. It's a lot of it's in major keys. They covered the Monkees' Porpoise song. They've also covered Nirvana and some other bands I don't necessarily care for, but it's a lot of it's in major keys, so it's not as proggy or adventurous as some, but it's still very layered, and there's tons of instrumentation. And I think that bands like, maybe not so much the Deer Hunter, but Typhoon and the Family Crest to us. Some of those bands owe something to the Polyphonic Spree. Now, granted, they weren't the first band that did this. You go back to, Brian Wilson, Pet Sounds, or the stuff that he worked with Wall's sound guy from the '60s. That's not even. But that I kind of look at that as sort of the beginning of this kind of stuff in rock and pop music. But it kind of got brought back to some degree in the 2000s with these guys and a few other bands, Anathallo and Sufjan Stevens especially. So this is together. What's it? The Fragile Army rather from 2007. So anyway, making some progress here. So yeah, I have a large stack of records from this next band. Of course, they're not unfamiliar, but I did not do my due diligence and put them in perfect order, so I'll try to do this as quickly as possible. This is the most recent. Maybe these are in order. No, they're not. Well, yep. And good to have them in as close to order as I can. this goes back. You see them frequently, so if I'm doing them in the, I think I'm doing them in the right order or close to the right order. Anyway, all right. So this is, this is Porcupine Tree. So I picked these up over this period of I don't know how many years, mostly at Cheapo. I didn't order too many of these online. But this is, I believe, Up the Down Stair, which was, album came out in 95. I'm doing my 2008 Snapper Music pressing on K-Scope, but yeah. Got the title track, yes, Up the Down the Stair. Burning Sky, he's played live. This is a trip, and it's very flowing. It's almost like a Hawkwind record in some ways. I haven't revisited the early Porcupine Tree in a long time, so then I also have the Sky Moves Sideways, which is like, again, Stars Die, that's kind of the one that people think of, and Moon Loop, it's a 22-minute piece. But again, like, the kind of early Porcupine Tree, I talked about this years ago in a video, a lot of those records kind of blur. I mean, it's space rock, a lot of textures, samples here and there, dynamics, you know, and I know some of these records initially didn't have real drums, but this, I know they were re-recorded with Gavin at one point. This is 2012, so that was 4 years later when this came out. Sky Moves Sideways, and again, I'm remiss. Again, one of them came out the order of like 95, 94, 95, and then Voyage 34 was in there somewhere too. So here's Signify. This is what I consider sort of the first like kind of real band album. I think this might have been the album that Chris Maitland joined the band. This was 96. Like 98% certain. I'm 96% certain, but yes. This has Waiting, Phase 1, Phase 2, Dark Matter closes in, and the title track, Born, Live, Die. I love some of the samples in this. Talking about some guy having some I was having the most amazing hallucination, you know. But yeah, and the guitar textures that Steven uses are just awesome. They're just very spacey, a little bit what the Ocean Size would do later. But anyway, so all right, move on. And then that was, I'm thinking maybe it was one of those albums that came out in '97, but this was 1999's. This is 1999's Stupid Dream, which Signify was them leaning toward more of a pure band sound rather than just pure, you know, loopy space rock. This is more song-oriented. Even Less is probably the most well-known song on here, but Don't Hate Me, A Smart Kid, Stop Swimming is depressing. It's a melancholy piece. Pure Narcotic. A lot of these songs I've seen them play live, or I saw, Piano Lessons. That was 99. That's a favorite of many people. And they were kind of they were influenced by like Britpop, of course, at that point, Radiohead. So then here's my this is my go-to. So this is the album that I got into, that was out, the new album, Lightbulb Sun from the year 2000. It took me a long time to finally get this on vinyl, but I love She's Moved On, The Last Chance to Evacuate Planet Earth Before It's Recycled, the title track, which opens How Is Your Life Today, Russia on Ice is epic, Hate Song, the groove is great on that, Colin Edwin. Yeah, I have distinct memories. I saw them at Nearfest in 2001. I was just trying to check them out at the point because I knew they'd been confirmed to play. I'd gone to Nearfest the year before to see Transatlantic and Happy the Man. And I remember going to Electric Fiesta in Minneapolis and buying this one winter day. I went like on a Saturday night with my friend Creighton in 2001, and it's like, yeah, this is pretty cool. I wasn't blown away by it. A lot of it reminded me of Radiohead, or that even more so the Britpop. But over time, I grew to appreciate more of what was going on. It's a good blend of being sort of experimental, but melodic and textured with a lot of hooks. That How Is Your Life Today sounds like a Beatles song. 4 chords that made a million. That's kind of anti-music industry. It's like all you need to do is 4 chords and get a hit. But anyway, so that was 2000. And this was in the wrong spot. I had here. I'll have to go back to that. So then I have, if I'm not mistaken, let's see, when is this one coming up? No, this one's after that. So 2002 is, of course, sort of major label debut on Lava Atlantic, In Absentia, which is a revered record by many, and I think it lives up to that sort of hype. To me, this is clearly a very good choice to tell people to listen to the band first. Trains, especially, that song alone. If they know that, people love the sound of music, or Muzak. Heart Attack in a Lay-By, that's melancholy. Lips of Ashes. Blackest Eyes was the opening, very punchy, riffy track, that single. Gravity Eyelids. Well, I mean, there's not a bad song on this. It's a little darker at points, you know. It's obviously more metallic. This is the first album with Gavin Harrison. That was the big change besides being on a major label. But so I have this. This is some kind of bootleg from 2000. I want to say it was around that time. It includes Blackest Eyes. No, okay, this is later. So actually, I'm going out of order again because I noticed some songs. So the next album after In Absentia was, of course, 2005's Deadwing, which was supposed to be a music for a soundtrack to a film. It was based on a screenplay that Stephen Wilson had co-written with Lasse Halle. It has probably my many favorite song from the song that's their favorite song from Porcupine Tree, Arriving Somewhere But Not Here. They named that live DVD after it. Lazarus, of course, is just my friend John compared it to Coldplay. It's a beautiful ballad. The piano, you know, Deadwing, the title track Shallow, Melloton Scratch, Open Car, Start Something Beautiful, and then the live vinyl version has So-Called Friend and Half-Light. Glass I'm Shattering. It's pretty heavy, this one. This one took me a while to find too, but second album with Gavin Harrison. So then I do have this. I have I was trying to show this. This is Rock Palace, 2005, November of 19th, 2005. You can see the track list there. It has Blackest Eyes, Lazarus, Futile, Mother and Child Divided, A So-Called Friend, Telling the Music, Started Something Beautiful. Halo and Radioactive Toy has been frequently a live staple, at least back at that point in the 2000s and earlier than that. Yeah, I got this at Agartha. But yeah, it's a live Porcupine Tree bootleg on vinyl. It's kind of hard to pass that up when I saw it. It was not cheap, $30, but whatever. So I have New Recurring, the EP. I said my piece on Fear of a Blank Planet probably more than once on this channel and many more times in the blog and on message boards and stuff. I like this more than Fear of a Blank Planet. I'll just get that out of the way. Fear of a Blank Planet, the lyrics kill it to me in some ways, and it's kind of a downer record, and I just, you know, it's okay, but I just don't find, it gets praised to no end, and it's giving me no reason, and I've preferred this. The title track on New Recurring, Normal, I found out that one of the guys that's with No Man, the original member of No Man played on this, I guess. And Robert Fripp is on. That's Ben Coleman, I think. That was I was reading yesterday on an interview with Stephen Wilson that interviews Anil Prasad did. But Robert Fripp, of course, King Crimson plays on the title track. But yeah, this is like 4 songs, and I mean, it's like 30 minutes of music. I'd much rather listen to this than Fear of Blank Planet every time. I like some of the Fear of Blank Planet songs better live. I'll give them that much. But I still don't have it. I don't know. I'd maybe buy a copy for $10, but I don't think I'll be able to find one. So then I did buy. This was a record store day item, I think. Yeah, I do not have the new one, Closure Continuation, at this point. I like it, but I'm still kind of lukewarm. And I don't have, of course, the record they did before they had that long break. The Incident. I have that on CD. I know it was hard. I could never find that thing on CD. It took me many years to find it at the stores. I never wanted to order it online. But this thing right here is PTIADW. I think it was a record store item like a couple years ago. And it's got Chloroform, which I think was like on Recordings maybe. Drown With Me, Revenants, and Mother and Child Divided. Yeah, these are like non-album Deadwing Sessions in Absent. These are like B-side. I think I showed this in our record store day video, but it's kind of a weird title because how do you PTIADW, because it's like, you know, Porcupine Tree, In Absentia, Deadwing, and XT. Again, that's from Recordings or whatever, not XTC. Steve Wilson's a big fan, of course. So, all right, moving on to trying to wrap some of this stuff up. I only have one album from the band PFM, or Premiata Fornieri Marconi. What I consider the premiere of the Italian prog bands that I've heard. I do like Bonco. I saw Bonco and some of the other. I saw Il Boleto di Bronzo too, but this is the one that this band I like the most, like a lot of people. This is Photos of Ghosts, and it has their trademark track Celebration. Now I'm not sure if this version. This is a DJ copy. But I don't know if there's a version of this in Italian, so I'm guessing this is the American pressing, or in English at least. This came out in '73, so Photo of Ghosts. But yeah, DJ pressing. So, alright, and then, okay, I only have, sadly, one album from this artist, and this was not mine. I just kind of inherited this from my mother's brother. This is the debut album from Prince, For You, which I only listened to a couple of years ago for the first time. And while he plays everything on it, like 99% of everything that's done on here, between all the instruments, the vocals, of course, and the mixing and the mastering was done by him. Kind of like what Johnny Anderson supposedly did with Liza and Hill, although that's up for investigation if you really want to do some more research on that. But the standout track after listening to it a couple years ago is the song, the last track, I'm Yours. It doesn't sound like anything else Prince really has ever done, not much, but it has this guitar solo that's just oh my god, it's so good. It sounds like proto hair metal in some ways. The riff is great. Even though the production is what it is, and I mean, the guy was like whatever he was, 21 years old at this point, or 20 or 19. I don't know if, the song that later was done by Shaka Khan, I think, was on the next one. I Feel For You, I think. But anyway, yeah, the one, if you've never heard this album and you like prog, this is progressive stuff, even though it's got still rooted in R&B, but a lot of guitar and stuff. He was a huge Hendrix fan, of course. But the last song, I'm Yours, is where it's at on this album from 78, I think it was. 78 or 70? Yeah, it was 78. Alright, so I only have one record from this band, a band that I've liked for a while. This is Protest the Hero's debut album with alternate artwork, and I think they finally issued it on vinyl. This is Kezia. Kezia or Keziah? I always say Kezia. Awesome energy, the great dynamics, the acoustic sections, the female vocals with J.D. Kelly. This came out in, I think it was 2006, though I've seen other things, other dates. I've seen it maybe as 2005 release, but it's a great record for progressive metalcore or progressive metal that's doing a little bit of screaming, but not too much. This is a great album to hear, and I would totally, even though I like Fortress and some of the other records, this is their best work to me. It flows. Blindfolds aside, Dissension. It doesn't have the track list on here. I've never shown it. I gotta be as efficient, but yeah. I mean, it's. I think of this album more as a as a whole. Doesn't even. Yeah, this didn't even give me the track list, which is kind of. Is there a sheet? No, this is definitely a interpretive thing, because you buy the record, you got a gatefold here. It does say Protest the Hero, and it does say Kezia there, as you can see. But that's it. There's nothing that I could tell. Even the labels on the vinyl don't even have the tracks. So just knowing off the top of my head the best songs. Yeah, Dissensions, Blindfolds Aside. Yeah, it's a terrific record, but I'll have to talk about it at a later time more in detail. But yeah, it's fantastic. I love this record. It's up there with Colors from Between the Buried and Me and a lot of others, and doing like progressive and metalcore, or like doing extreme metal with progressive stuff. So this is the last part of the P's. I finally made it through, and these are the 3 records I have from this band, the band that I've loved since I first heard of them. Their first release I don't have on vinyl. I don't think it came on vinyl. Cautionary Tales for the Brave, but Pure Reason Revolution. This is, I believe, a first pressing of The Dark Third, but I don't know if it came out in 2006. I think the vinyl got issued later. But this version, of course, has some of the extra tracks. There are 2 versions, of course. One that came out one point in 2006, later in 2006, and then they released it with all the extra tracks in 2007. The twin scene Trembling Wheels, you have to have that, and that's not on the standard track order on the first disc. But then you also have to have Nimbos and Tambos, which you don't have on. I believe it's that and the Intention Craft. There's a version, the original British version, the UK version did not have that. So it was like they had too many good songs. However, there is a track or 2 that's missing on here. Golden Clothes ain't on here, unfortunately. So I don't know if eventually they did release. All you need to know is they had the MySpace on here. Maybe this was issued. That's why it's probably it's got to be a first pressing. But you can see the MySpace on here. No Golden Clothes. So, and it's got, Princess of the Universe, Bright and Bassett Morning, that's a reference to Pink Floyd's Echoes, of course. It's a lyric in there. Voices in Winter's great. The riffs, it's like little Zeppelin, kind of the chunky riffs with the dreamy astral folk harmonies and everything. That color's great. I mean, they just couldn't do wrong for the first like 3 years of their recording history. Everything they recorded, I loved, and I think it was just fantastic. But yeah, the Dark Third and the different versions of it, this is great. At some point, I want to get Golden Clothes. I have it on CD. Golden Clothes is one of the best tracks, even though it's way electronic. So I have the 2 records that have been reissued on vinyl. I believe the other ones have not. I don't think so. I don't know if Hammer and Anvil from 2009 and Amor Vincent Omnia, I don't think, to do some more research. Last time I checked, they weren't. But I do have the 2 Return reunion albums they've released the last few years. Eupnia from 2020 and Above Cyrus from 2022. So both are great. I kind of lean a little toward Eupnia, just after revisiting both of them last year again after this came out. Unfortunately, the case on my Eupnia is creased. It got a little slight damage, but the title track is my favorite on this. But a song called, I think, is it Silent Genesis? Yeah, that's one of the other ones. On the record from last year, Scream Sideways is the best track to me. But there's a few. Our Prism, New Kind of Evil, very Tool influence. This one's heavier and more riffy, and unfortunately, it kind of gets to be a little too much throughout the whole record. But I found there's a little bit more of a balance on this one. But anyway, I still enjoy it a lot. Unfortunately, the state of Purism Revolution right now, they're playing live shows, but it's not with Chloe Elper because she's with the band James. She's been playing live for them for the last year and a half, too. Obviously, it's a paying gig. I don't blame her. I just hope that, we still can get more music from them. They talked about a new album coming, and she's still involved because, along with John Courtney, now Greg Jong's come back. They're really the heart and soul and the basis of the band and the greatness of that band. So anyway, that's all the P's. I don't know if I have time to start doing the Q's. Would be on the next shelf today, but if not, I'll try to start them tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you next time.